Good afternoon. It is a beautiful day, at least where I am right now, and today is Saturday. We had some rain in the morning, but things are looking okay right now, so it's a perfect time to talk about real estate. And if you have any questions about any of the content we will be covering today, which is partnerships and real estate investing, just hop over to callseth.com and we can set up a call and make sure all your questions are answered. So today we are talking about partnerships. Oh, that's actually a pretty long word. Fund yesterday was pretty short. So partnerships. We've already covered syndications and the fund structure, and partnerships would be the next most common structure or opportunity for people to work together when investing in real estate. And let's cover the differences between a fund, a syndication, and a partnership, at least how it applies to the real estate investors. So we've got two ways of investing in real estate. We've got active, and we have passive. Now, a fund and a syndication fall under the passive side, whereas a partnership, all parties are considered to be active. Now, this is really important if you want to take advantage of all the protections offered to passive investors. So this is why, let's say you're invested in a fund or a syndication, and you decide one day to go visit one of the properties and talk with the property management and offer a few suggestions. You have just opened yourself and all the other investors and the general partner open to some really bad stuff, because you are actually actively participating in that investment, and that is against the rules. And a lot of bad things can happen if things go wrong, because what happens is the government provides passive investors lots of protections when they're investing through a fund or syndication structure, because they're not deemed to be experts in real estate. That's for the general partner side. And the passive investors, they're just providing the capital to other parties who have the experience and the knowledge and the experience to go out and earn some returns on that money. But as soon as you start participating in an active role, things change pretty quickly, and that can undermine the whole structure and all the benefits for investors in these two types of structures. So today we're talking about partnerships, and there's some really neat things you can do with the partnership structure. So let me get rid of this right here. And like I said, if you have any questions, even though we're not covering funds or syndications, we did that in other videos, just go to callseth.com and we can make sure any questions, or if you need some clarification on some of the points. I'm trying not to make these videos too long. I don't want to put anybody to sleep, but you know, I don't know how somebody could sleep through the greatest thing ever, which is real estate investing. So I'm trying to keep these short. So if you want to go into more detail, and I can talk for hours about this stuff, like I said, go to callseth.com and we can set up a quick phone call. So let's say we are looking to acquire a 50-unit building. So this could be a smaller apartment building, multifamily, and there are 4 people who want to get involved. But this deal is too small. There's not enough profit or meat on the bone to turn this into a syndication, and we really don't have to if we have enough capital amongst the partners. So let's say there is one partner who wants to manage the deal, and this person would have experience in property management. They know how to deal with the tenants, how to raise rents, how to turn over the tenant profile of the building. Actually, that's a good topic for a future video. We'll talk about tenant profiles and how they can affect an investment. We'll have one partner who's good in construction. So maybe this property needs extensive renovations, and this person is maybe a contractor who has experience, turning over apartment buildings. And then we can have 2 partners here who are bringing the capital. Now, with this mix, it doesn't make sense to turn this into a syndication. Syndications and funds, well, especially funds, because you're going to be acquiring other properties. But for this example, a syndication, it would be too expensive. You have to do the private placement memorandum, and there's a whole bunch of legalese that goes along with it, and some restrictions. So in this case, 4 partners, all are happy participating actively in the deal, albeit in their separate roles. And actually, I just used albeit in a live stream, which, we can go ahead with using some fancy words. So ergo, we've got the manager, construction person, and the two capital partners. So this is how typically this would be set up. If this is the whole piece of the pie, which is the property deal, we would split this into quarters. So each partner would take a quarter of all the profits. This would be pretty typical because, you know, without the management, without the construction background, the capital can't be put to work properly. But without the capital, the manager and the construction person can't do the deal. So each quarter here is equally dependent on the other. Another very common way of acquiring real estate would be a smaller single-family deal. And this is quite common. We always talk about money partners when we're looking at smaller residential properties. So let's say it's a duplex. Oh, a 50-unit duplex. Wow, that's an oxymoron. Okay, so we'll say duplex. And typically what happens is we have one real estate investor who has the real estate experience. Maybe they're tapped out, so maybe they have 15 properties already and they can't qualify for additional financing, or they don't have any funds available, but they see this really good opportunity and now they seek out another partner to come in on the deal. So we'll have partner number one. So we'll have real estate experience. And then this partner, like I was saying, maybe they don't have the capital on hand. Maybe they're tapped out to qualify, so they'll bring in the second partner who has the capital and who can qualify for financing. And like I said, this is very common in scooping up these smaller residential properties. So if we look at the pie here, how I would like to see this set up is a 50-50 split, because like we talked about in the first example I used with the 50-unit property, each side is dependent on the other. Without the capital, the real estate person can't acquire the property, but without this real estate person acquiring and managing the property, the capital can't be put to work. So it would be split 50-50 both ways. Now sometimes people like to change this up, so sometimes maybe, let's say, maybe partner number one has the real estate experience and they have the capital, but they can't sign for the debt, so they can't qualify for the financing. So maybe it would be split a little bit differently. You'd have 25%. Oh, there we go. 25% to the person signing on the debt, because that's all they're doing. And then because this person is bringing the capital and the real estate experience, they would take the other 75%. Lots of different ways you can do it, but just keep in mind, in a partnership structure, everybody's dependent on the other, so they should be compensated accordingly. Now, what are some of the things to watch out for when entering into a real estate partnership? And I can speak to you from very painful experience, so I've learned the hard way. So first of all, you always have to speak with the lawyer and talk about worst case scenarios and what can happen. Lots of times people first getting into real estate investing, they go on a handshake or they don't come up with an agreement, and that can lead to some really bad things. So what are some things that they have to consider? Well, one would be cash calls. And what a cash call is let's say 1 month there's a shortfall in rent and there's not enough money in that property to cover the expenses. Well, both partners are on the hook for their portion. So let's say one was 25 and one was 50 and another was 25. They would be each responsible for that portion of the expenses. So that's called a cash call, because you're basically picking up the phone and saying, hey, I need some cash right now. You have no choice. So what happens with cash calls? That would be number one. What happens if somebody wants out? And this happens too. So let's say you're acquiring a property in a partnership structure and you're banking on a 5-year or 7-year hold period, but in year 3, somebody has some health issues or somebody goes through a divorce and they need their money right now. What happens? Lots of people don't think about this, but life does happen. So you have to plan for this in your partnership agreement. Does one partner have the opportunity to buy out the other partner? Is it a forced sale at that point? Or is there no way this person gets their money out because the partnership agreement stipulates that, and again, I used albeit, now I'm saying stipulates, stipulates that no money is coming out of the deal. So lots of things to keep in mind. And also, is there a shotgun clause in case one partner goes rogue? And I experienced this myself, where one partner basically emptied out the property bank accounts and did some other really bad things. So is there a shotgun agreement if, if one partner is refusing to lease the properties, or if one partner does something that would be considered illegal? Do they automatically forfeit control of certain things? What happens? A good lawyer will be able to walk you through and help you create a partnership agreement that outlines what happens, because it's always better. Everything's all rosy when you first buy the property. Everybody's excited, and this is the time to get them to sign a very thorough partnership agreement that outlines everything that could happen. So that way, in case, knock on wood, worst case scenario does not happen, but in case it does, because in real estate, things do happen that everybody's taken care of. And I've found myself through experience that if things are written down and laid out clearly, less bad things can happen because everything is spelled out on the paper. So if you have any questions about creating a partnership agreement, or how an active versus passive investor, how they're protected based on legislation and all of that good stuff, just hop over to callseth.com and we can hop on a quick call. Usually they're 20 to 30 minutes, and we do those on Zoom. We can see each other face to face. It's almost like being in the same room without the travel, and we can make sure any of your questions are taken care of, and we can talk about some investing opportunities as well. So thanks very much for joining me today to talk about partnerships, and have a great day and enjoy the rest of your weekend.